July 30th, 2015. Fear is a Paralyzing Spirit by Sarah. I am currently on the farm in Namibia. My soon-to-be mother-in-law and I did some wedding arrangements today. It is almost only 40 days before the wedding and the word preparation has never been more of a reality to me. It is one thing to give the message of preparation, calling the bride to make herself ready for the coming Messiah, but now I find myself in the shoes of a bride in the natural, and everything that Abba has revealed in the Spirit is becoming a reality. That word reality brings responsibility. What do we do with our responsibilities? It's a daily thing, an uncompromising and undeniable thing. You can't escape it and you can't push it aside because the structure of our natural lives will fall apart. Although we are preparing for the marriage supper of the Lamb, we still have bodies and we are still on this earth and we still have responsibilities in the natural. When I think about the spiritual principles that Abba teaches us by his Spirit of wisdom, I understand that they are like pillars that needs to be established, that will uphold a holy lifestyle in our natural lives. More and more I hear Abba speaking to me in the natural, showing me his principles in the natural things of our day-to-day lives. We should be careful not to become too spiritual and spiritualize everything, because that breaks the pillars that will uphold it. Why is it that we link being spiritual to being prepared, or holy? Or more than that? The bride of Christ? We are sometimes so super spiritual that we miss people. We need to remember we are called to spread the gospel to the poor, we are called to make disciples. It's about being the bridegroom to the world who does not know a relationship with God as that of a bride and groom, an intimate relationship. We should be careful not to become self-righteous because we miss the point. We so badly want to feel ready that we forget that it is about helping others to get ready as well. Does our faith that means to know that we are ready and our responsibility to walk it out in our lifestyles meet up? Or does our faith make us like clouds? You can see it but you can't touch it. Is our faith solid enough to be touched in the natural? Yes, we do have a responsibility to prepare, but we also need faith. What does your responsibilities look like? I am referring to your responsibility of obedience to the word of YHVH and the natural responsibilities of a day-to-day life here on earth. Do we sometimes separate our spiritual responsibilities and our natural responsibilities? Our mindsets are wrong because we measure readiness with spirituality. We can be spiritual without being mature. It is not about being spiritual, it is about being mature to walk out the spiritual in the natural. There is a problem because our natural life does not look at all like the so-called spiritual name that we carry for ourselves. My question is there really order in our natural lives? How do our pillars look that uphold our day-to-day lives? Are those pillars strong? Is it firm? Is the word of YHVH so rooted in your natural lives that when others look at our day-to-day life they will see that you walk in the word and not just talk about it? Abba is really journeying with me about what it really means to live the lifestyle of the bride preparing herself for the Messiah. The truth is, the preparation takes place in our day-to-day lives, so that is exactly where we need to take up our responsibility to root the spiritual in the natural and not just be spiritual but to actually walk in the Word. What will it help us to have knowledge about all the prophecies of what will come in the natural whenever Abba decides the time? We can get so easily distracted and miss the heart of what Abba wants to say to us. Is he giving us warnings so that we may know what will happen, or is he leading us into preparation so that our natural lives can come into alignment with his order for our destinies to change? Yes. He is calling us to come into His order, His kingdom, His ways, His truth, His way of walking. You will hear that I am asking questions. This is due to the season that I am in. I am searching my heart, I am searching Abba's heart, I am searching for deeper wisdom, deeper revelation, deeper growth, deeper fruitfulness. It feels like I am digging in the sand in the wilderness anticipating the treasures to come out. It is good to ask questions, it brings forth growth. There are many things dropping in my spirit, but it is not time yet for the release. I can really see that habit is preparing me to write. It is time for new birth. This has just been an intro to a few things that is going on in my spirit, but I want to share with you something that I witnessed today. After we did some wedding preparation, I went with my soon-to-be in-laws for a drive on the farm. We saw springbucks, zebras, roans and many other things. The whole time while we were driving I was praying. I was asking Abbott to show me what he sees. We were standing at the watering hole and new black-nose impala was being released into the field. I was standing with my camera to take a picture of them leaping into freedom. They drove a long way and they were completely out of their natural environment. I am sure to them it must have been as if they were in a cage. They went off until we couldn't see them anymore, but there was one still in the carriage that did not come out. Eventually he came out of the carriage, but its hind legs were completely paralyzed. The poor thing could not follow the others, he was stuck, so to speak. The man who released the deer said that it was because of stress that its legs were paralyzed. As I watched it struggling, I heard Holy Spirit's voice in my spirit. Fear is a paralyzing spirit. Now you can see in the natural what fear does to your spirit. It keeps you in the confined area of the lies within the fear, and those lies becomes the barriers in your life that keeps you from freedom, victory and abundance. Fear causes you to struggle because it sucks at the truth and faith, and it brings you to the place of self-dependence. You see, faith and truth walk hand in hand. You need to put your faith in the truth, and that truth will set you free. However, fear and lies walk hand in hand. Lies bring fear and then you become paralyzed. Where does fear enter in? You know what happened to that deer. It was removed from its former place of dwelling so that it can pant in new fields. In the transition, fear took hold. Why? Because the deer didn't know his surroundings and found himself on unfamiliar ground. That is the same thing that happens to my children. You are faced with situations in which you do not know me, but it is an opportunity to grow in faith because of my faithfulness. However, in that place where you do not see my face but find yourself in the fire, the enemy lies to you. He tells you that you are not good enough, he tells you that you are not prepared. He tells you that you will disappoint, you will fail, that I have forsaken you, that my hand is not upon you anymore because you've sinned, because you don't feel my presence. The enemy tells you that you are not worthy to be my bride. In that place the enemy lies to you so that he can paralyze you in fear, because if that fear takes root you will keep on believing the lies and you will not be able to walk in your blood-purchased freedom. Remember that fire is also light, it burns, but it readies the eyes for revelation and the heart with capacity because it burns out the fleshly clutter. Fire brings forth the opportunity for deep growth and maturity. I am telling you, my beloved children, be sober and watchful in this time, for the voice of lies bring fear. It is the spirit of rejection and the spirit of fear walking around like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. The lies are filled with deception, the fear is filled with torment. Love is the power that breaks the strongholds of the dark. Therefore within the voice of truth you will hear the echoes of the love of a faithful Father that is with you. Don't let the enemy paralyze you with fear. Do not be anxious for anything, my beloved ones. No one and nothing can get me off of the throne, especially not the enemy, so do not fear. Do not be weary, but take up your responsibility to walk in love, truth, grace, faith, hope, trust. Take up your responsibility to walk in my instructions so that I can establish pillars of true worship in your day-to-day walks of life. I am the God who walks on water, I am not confined nor conformed, but I am the one who sets borders in righteousness. I am the one who decides how far the waves should break into the shores. I am the one who determines the distance of the moon and the sun from the earth. I am the one who divides day and night. Do not be confined or conformed to fear, but let my love be the borders that you live in, because you do not know the height nor the weight of it, but I do. It is incomprehensible by the natural man, but it does have a covering, and that covering is created to protect you. It is called Shalom. Therefore stay under my covering of love, but be removed from the fear barriers and its covering of darkness. Stand up and walk in your responsibility.